What's going on, guys? DJ John coming at you. So today we're going to be going over the Crescendo Contralto 12. There's been a lot of conspiracy going around that this is a very shitty sub, it can't take power, and suspension sucks. But there's a lot of pros and cons about it, and after 2 years of experience of using them, I'm going to go ahead and give my input on them and kind of just do a review. So first we're going to start off with the triple stack motor. This motor is a beast. It's got the one-piece T-yoke with extended pole for extended excursion, and it's got the vents. It's got the pole vent and the side vent for the coil for extra cooling, and it's got an 8-layer 3-inch flat wound coil. It comes in dual 1, dual 2, and dual 4s. It's got the multiple Mechman spiders. It's a little bit of a looser suspension, but we'll go over that later and explain why. It's got the double stitched lead wires leading into our oversized push terminals. It's got a carbon fiber cone and dust cap for extra strength and lighter weight, and it's got the tall stitched foam surround. The stitching is for the extra strength when under heavy excursion, and it's rated for about 2000 watts RMS. Now we're going to talk about in depth on why some of these specifications are the way they are and what they're meant for. And I'm going to talk about the pros and cons about them all and what you can and what your limits are with. I have pushed these subs to the absolute limit, and I can explain to you guys what you can do to get there and what you can do to kind of go beyond that. This motor is a beast motor. It is definitely capable of taking 3000 watts, maybe even more. It's definitely a badass motor. It's got perfect cooling on it, and pretty much whatever you want to put on it, it definitely will handle it. And I can't see anyone really putting 6K to these, or maybe even 8K, but it is definitely good for a musical build. The coil is a badass coil too. I know a lot of you guys saw the one video of where my sub blew and the coil unwound, but I had that burn mark on it. And I think what happened was when my amp fried, it might have put out a clipped signal because I still had it playing and all the subs were still playing, and it might have put out a bad signal because after that, that's when it started like smelling real bad. But other than that, I haven't had any issues with this coil. I've had easily 1800 and above with the 25500s on the coils each, and then when I had 45500s, I had about 4K, maybe even more going to each, because right now I have 412s, these subs stock on 15500 a piece at half ohm, so they're easily getting a good 5K, and I pushed them to the absolute limit. I even put a little bit of clip signal in there just for a quick second, and not even a smell. They got a little warm, but shit, 5000 watts on this tiny ass coil, that is insane. Leading into the spider is rated for 2000 watts. It is a softer spider, which gives it that lower FS, and that's better for the lower end. That's why these subs are some pretty low end monsters. I think the FS on this one is like 29 hertz, so that's pretty badass. It definitely gets down on the lower end, but that's where that looser suspension comes in, and that's where a lot of people say when it comes to putting power to them, they cannot handle it. But I beg to differ. If you have a proper enclosure and you're not extremely losing, control of the sub, then it should be good. A lot of people had triple joint issues, but anytime I saw that, it was usually had to do with either one or two things: too much power, or the enclosure was not built to spec for these subs. But if you are looking to put an extreme amount of power to them like I am, and you want to keep them under control on the lower end, I would definitely recommend going and getting a custom spider for these and a stiffer suspension, and it'll help you in the long run. That's what I'm doing with all 6 of mine, because I do have like 4500 to 5K going to each, and I am going to want to play some hella lows, and that's definitely going to help me in the long run. Moving on to the push terminals. I love these push terminals. They're really easy to use and they're real basic. You got the lead wire going into a ring terminal, bolts right up to the terminal. It's rated for 8 gauge to 10 gauge wires. I'm going to explain to you kind of how to go about putting in 2 8 gauge wires. They are oversized, rated for the 8 gauge, but there is a little bit of an issue when it comes down to that. I'm going to show you guys that here in a second. But the terminals are pretty sturdy. I've checked the resistance on them. The resistance is fairly low, and compared to any direct connects or anything, these are definitely an easy route to go, especially if you're going to be bringing them in and out of the car a lot like I do. I'm going to show you guys now how to do 2 8-gauge wires in these, and it's a little trick to it. Alright guys, so I got 2 8-gauge wires. These are the Crescendo Audio 8-gauge. When you first strip some 8-gauge wire and you have your fresh ends and they're not fraying up yet, I'm pretty sure, I haven't tried it because it's been a long time and I don't really remember, but if you can do it quick and easy and get it in perfect, I'm pretty sure you don't have to do any more stripping. But after taking them in and out a couple times, I had to kind of loosen them up and cut some ends off of them and make them a little bit thinner to fit in there. But after doing that about 2 or 3 times, I had to take these out. I believe this is like the 4th time it's been out, and I'll show you guys right now. You can fit 2 8-gauge wires in there after stripping them down a little bit. Look at that, they're both in. It does hang out a hair, but that's why I would possibly recommend going with dual 10-gauge wires. That could help with a little bit ease of use and not have to strip it if you guys are taking them in and out a lot for maybe SPLUs, changing enclosures and doing some testing. But it will fit dual 8-gauge wires. I know I had a lot of people ask me about that because sometimes terminals are rated for it and they just can't fit it. Well, these do fit. I'm pretty sure if you do strip them fresh, I bet you could fit them both in there. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm not really going to go ahead and worry about that. But that's just about that. That sums that up. They are a perfect fit. Good terminals, easy to use. Never really had a problem with them. But moving on to the soft parts. We already talked about the spider, but when you come up to the front here, you got this stitch surround. It's a nice tall surround, good for some low end and excursion. It's got a lot of throw on it, and it's perfect for pretty much any musical application. I haven't really seen these in any SPL builds, so I haven't had any experience with that. The cone and the dust cap, it is a nice strong adhesive on it, good for some power. It's real strong, lightweight carbon fiber, and nice imprinted Nendo logo on there to top it off. Got your gasket here. And then moving on to the actual basket. This frame is not like your typical 8-spoke basket or any basket like that. It is extremely strong. I have not seen any of these crack yet, nor can I even imagine that unless you have some real extreme baffle flex. But this is an extremely strong basket and I can't see anything happening to this. Another thing too, I just want to go over real quick. These do come equipped with a spider ring on it with some bolts going through. That's a little bit better support so the spider just doesn't rip out, which I can't see that happening. It's got a strong glue on there, and when you take these off to go ahead and recone them, they're not really necessary. If you can sort of keep them intact when you're pulling them apart, go right ahead, but other than that, that's just about sums it up. I would say they are perfectly fine for 2,000 watts, maybe even 2,500 if you have a little bit of a better enclosure specifically for these subs. But if you upgrade them, definitely capable of 4K or more. And I'm gonna go ahead and make a video about that here in a little bit, and we're gonna go over that another day. And I'm gonna show you guys live action of these taking 15500 a piece at half ohm, and I'm going to show you guys some extreme flex. But other than that, that's pretty much all I got. That's my opinion on them. For $450, there's some badass subs, and shit, you can't really complain. 2,000 watts RMS, beefy little bitches. They're about 65 pounds a piece, so not too bad on the weight. A little bit conservative. I would definitely recommend at least a double baffle enclosure or a strong brace enclosure. So that's all I got for you guys for today. I hope you guys enjoy this review. Definitely gets my thumbs up. Badass little sub. And if you guys have any more questions, be sure to leave them in the comments below, or hit me up on any of my social media. Be sure to give this video a like, share it, and subscribe. And stay tuned for the next video coming up of these bitches getting some pure power. Catch you guys next time.
talk to Big Bro today.
What he said?
He's gonna be automatic.
He said, let's go to